Praise God. Y'all don't stop doing what you're doing. I'm telling you, because we've got a lot of lost brothers out there that think that it's okay to cut you or shoot you because you decide to wear red or blue. I don't know. And then your enemy sit back there going, hell, we ain't got to do that. Let them do it till they say.
Absolutely. They're stereotypes for a reason. They're not just lies. People just make some shit up and then we all just, black people tend to occupy prisons more frequently than whites. And why? It's because of the 13th Amendment. The 13th Amendment stated that slavery was abolished except under penalty of incarceration. So if somebody were to commit a crime, post-slavery, post-abolition, they were in fact able to be enslaved because of the crime they committed. So it was systematically set up for us to maintain and continue in that enslaved. Oh, I'm gonna read it. Yeah. It says, this is section 1 of the 13th Amendment. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. So, if we were to commit a crime, we could remain slaves. Do you think that the white man wanted to give up free labor? Who would do that? That's stupid. If we were in rulership and we got free labor, why would we want to give that up? Why would anybody want to give that up? You only win, right? So it was designed to keep us enslaved. So when we look at who commits the crimes today, that idea has perpetuated since the amendment was written. It's been perpetuated. Why is there a liquor store on every corner in the projects? Because guess what? When they gentrify it, what's coming down? That liquor store coming down. When that neighborhood gets gentrified, the liquor store is coming down and the Black Baptist Church is coming down. And they're going to build a Whole Foods.
So what do you think about this though? Because I just had this conversation with somebody else just recently about all of the liquor stores. With them being able to rent property in a neighborhood like that, it's cheap. You know what I'm saying? Because it's liquor stores in nice neighborhoods too. Right. They're just nicer liquor stores. You know what I'm saying? Right. But it's cheaper to buy. It's cheaper to rent or lease or buy property in the hood.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? So that I feel like that's a contributing factor to why it's so many there too.
It is, but it's also systematic because in order to put us where we live, are you familiar with redlining?
In Walmart, yeah. That's a thing. Like, it's really a thing in Walmart.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's like you stand at the end of your line and you stand there and talk to people and question them to get them to come in your line. So it's called redlining.
Oh, okay. No, yeah, this is
like,
different.
That's really a thing.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know.
This is different. Redlining dictated who could move where. So if a black family moved out of the state and they came, say, from Indiana to North Carolina, South Carolina.
Based on their income or something, they have to...
Based on their race.
Okay.
Redlining was based on your race. It didn't matter how much you made. Some of those men that were making top dollar as programmers, doctors, engineers, those men that were making the same amount of money as, or close to the same amount of money as the white man, or if not more, sometimes they made more, they still could not get housing in certain areas because of redlining. And right, all of those factor in. So with redlining came this area here is where black people just live. So with it being cheaper, put liquor store here. Black people get drunk, they get stupid, It's systematic. It's not, and not only do they kill each other, if a black man is drunk all day, is he taking care of his kids? He's not. His child is going to be raised by his angry mom, and that child is going to become an angry child and destructive. And what's he going to do? He's going to get drunk in the same neighborhood. It's systematic. That's cursed in the city. Understand? These nice ass liquor stores in the white neighborhood is not cursed in the city. It's not cursed in the city. I'm sorry.
When you explain it, I mean,
All praise. That's what we do. Jump to verse 32.
Verse
Watch
32.
this, Lacey.
Thy
Lacey.
sons, thy
yeah, you got it.
and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
It said, thy sons and thy daughters shall be given into another people. I'll come back. We know that happens. I don't even think I have to explain that, but I will. Have you ever seen Roots or 12 Years a Slave?
Well, barely, I think.
You homebody.
Don't. I don't really watch movies.
Are you a black artist? You make black art?
I just make art. Like if I was to show you, I mean, it's all types of different. It's different shit. Like whatever I think of, I just do it. You know what I'm saying?
All right, well, I'll say that in the movie Roots, in the movie 12 Years a Slave,
Color Purple.
you know what's funny?
I mean, I saw that. Like,
okay.
give me some points for that. Like,
I ain't never seen Color Purple.
really? It was good. I seen it like 6 times.
Okay, well, out in slavery,
Yeah.
it was common for us to be sold to other plantations. If he was a white man, he fell a white man. I'm a white man. He came and visited me from Charleston and Virginia. I say, thank you for visiting my plantation. I have a business proposition. Take this child as a gift. That child got a family, got a mom, dad.
Right.
Here's a gift to you to employ him to do business with me. Right? That type of stuff happened frequently in slavery. It says your sons and your daughters shall be what?
Shall be given unto another people.
And what will happen?
And thine eyes shall look, and fail with longing for them all the day long.
In Roots, Kizzy didn't stop crying the whole movie. She was cry. Or in 12 Years a Slave, what was his wife's name? She cried the whole movie. Like anytime she was in the scene, she was crying. Because her son was taken away. Read.
And there shall be no might in thine hand.
So, it says that your sons and your daughters will be given to another people.
And thine eyes shall look, and fail with longing for them all the day
We
long.
would long for them all day. Like, this your child.
Right.
If your dog ran away, you'd be sad. Some type of sad. You know what I'm saying? Imagine your children. Read.
And there shall be no might in thine hand.
You can't get them, they couldn't get them, we couldn't get them back. What was we gonna do? Fight the white man with his guns?
Right.
On his plantation where we're literally beat into submission? Read.
The fruit of thy land, and all thy labors, shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up.
My fault. That was all. I wanted 32. Now jump to verse 47 and 48. Watch this. It's about to get real.
Verse
It's about to
40,
get real.
verse 47. Because thou servest not the Lord thy God,
Because we didn't serve God. Remember when we read that in 28:15? It said, if you didn't listen to God, keep the commandments, this curses will happen. Because we didn't serve God
with joyfulness
with joyfulness
and with gladness of heart,
and with gladness of heart,
for the abundance of all things.
and everything that He asked us to do, we didn't do them. Read.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
Now you're going to serve your enemies as a punishment. Because what's 400 years to eternity? God is an everlasting instant, right?
Right.
400 years is a very small punishment. 800 years is a very small punishment. 2,000 years is a very small punishment. Read.
Therefore shalt thou
I'm
serve
listening.
thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee.
The Lord sent them against us because we broke His commandments. Read.
In hunger,
In hunger, we got to serve them. Because if you want something to eat, you got to go to the store, who is the import and export of that store, the goods, the FDA regulations. All of that is controlled by who? The so-called white man.
Right.
Read.
and in thirst,
And in thirst, that Pure Life water bottle you just put in your purse is owned by who? Who distributes Pure Life? Who distributes Gatorade? Who distributes these? If you don't pay your water bill, who's cutting it off? The white man is cutting this shit off. It's just, that's how it is. Read.
and in nakedness,
And nakedness, the textile industry, all of this is controlled by the other nations. It's not controlled by us. We got to go to the enemies for it. Read.
and in want of all
No
things.
matter what we want. Driver's license. Birth certificate. If you die, you gotta get a death certificate. You gotta go to white man for that. Education. You gotta go to white man for education.
So knowing this information, how do you use that now? Like, once you know it, how do you use it?
Let me do the chapter 10, verse 12. The next curse was the slave ships. You ain't gotta read that.
No, I ain't saying
look
that.
at your
I'm
flyer.
just saying.
No,
you know.
what I'm saying is that it was just going to be solidified that the Israelites are the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Right? You should be able to identify with the curses. Maybe not you personally. You didn't go through slavery, but we should feel the effects. Today, when they look at your hair and they want to touch your hair, you should feel disrespected. You understand? Mm-hmm. Deuteronomy 10 and 12.
And now Israel, what doth the Lord thy God require of thee?
Now that you know you Israel, you know that the history pertains to you. You know that God gave us commandments, and you know that the white man has hidden our heritage from us. What do you do with that information, Reed?
But to fear the Lord thy God.
What does God require of you but to fear him, Reed?
To walk in all his ways.
To walk in all his ways. Do what he asks, Reed.
And to love him.
To love God, Reed.
And to serve the Lord thy God.
To serve him.
With all thy heart. And with all thy soul.
And with all thy soul.
To keep the commandments of the Lord.
To keep the commandments
of the Lord and his statutes, which I command thee this day for thy good.
What this is, it says for thy good. It's saying, what am I asking except for you to do these things for your own good? God's telling us, keep the commandments. That's really what he's asking, because the whole reason we have to even face any of this anyway is because we didn't keep his commandments. So he's asking us, what do I require of you but to just keep the commandments? Follow my ways, do what I asked you to do, and in doing so, that shows me that you love me. If you have a child or a spouse or whatever, they show you that they love you by doing the things that prove that they love you. If your child adheres to your directives, you know that your child loves you. I listen to my mom. I trust my mom. Right? Same thing with the Most High. If we as a nation of people follow his laws, his statutes, it shows us that we love him. It shows us that we love each other. Because guess what? Give me Leviticus 19 and 17. I love my people. It took me a while to get there because for a long time, I just didn't really care. What was it? I'm just my own person. Whatever.
I mean, that's how I became.
But I had to learn how to love my people. Because I know that I'm not on this earth by myself. And if anybody is going to be with me, it's going to be my people. I can't trust in nobody else. This brother right here, I know I can call him at 3 o'clock in the morning, he might not answer the phone. But if he do answer the phone, and I tell him that I'm in trouble, he'll help me. You understand? I don't have any, you might have 1 or 2 white people, 1 or 2 Asian friends or something, some Arab guy, whatever. They might help you, but as a nation of people, could you rely on them? We feel each other's pain. We see each other's hurt. You know what I'm saying? So we have to tap in to the love that we are supposed to have for people. Read that. Leviticus 19 and 17. Watch this.
Leviticus chapter 19, verse 17.
When you learn you're an Israelite, and I'm a man. I learned I was an Israelite when I was 21 years old. Well, 20. I started practicing when I was 21 years old. Okay. And I read this scripture. Read.
Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart.
I said, damn, I'm an Israelite. I don't really care about people like that. But God says I shouldn't hate my brother in my heart. Read.
Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor.
I should correct my neighbor if I see them going wrong. If you see a young black man about to kill another black man, you should stop that. So read that part again.
Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor.
You should rebuke your neighbor.
And not suffer sin upon him.
And not suffer sin upon him, meaning don't allow him to be in the midst of sin. So we have to know what sin is. All right. Couple of things. We supposed to. That should not kill. I use that sentence. It's an easy sin, easy law. That shall not kill. Right? That's a commandment. So it's a commandment of us not to kill one another. right? So me not suffering sin upon my brother would be, don't commit crime, don't murder. Bro, don't be a killer, don't be a thief, right? Don't do these things. Where typically I wouldn't care when I was younger in the world, I wouldn't care, but now I've trained myself through the love of God, through prayer and all this, to develop a love for my people. Now I come out and I'm able to tell you, Lacey, hey, I'm an Israelite. You should love yourself. You should love your hair. You should love your people. I was going to read slave ships to Lacey. Lacey, let me read slave ships to you and these lovely ladies. Is it?
This is beautiful now.
I'm going to start with verse 15. Okay. Because slave ships were prophesied in the Bible, but we got to understand why they were implemented in general. Read.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 15.
This is a message to the Israelites that came out of Egypt with Moses. Remember, y'all?
Right, we there.
Okay.
All there.
Oh yeah, we
trying to get educated. That's all
we well versed in religion, but we need to know our history.
All praises. So the Israelites came out of Egypt with Moses, led by Moses through the Spirit of the Lord, and they were captives when they were in Egypt, correct? Right. Now, this is what Moses had to say to those Israelites when they were coming out of the land of Egypt. Read.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
So it should come to pass, and it's a prophecy, that if you don't listen to the voice of the Lord your God, read.
To observe, to do all his commandments.
To observe and do his commandments.
And his statutes.
And the statutes.
Which I command thee this day.
An example of a statute would be keep the Sabbath as the law. A statute for the law of the Sabbath day would be no cooking, no buying, no selling, right? No servile work. Those are statutes under keep the Sabbath holy. Read.
That all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So if we didn't do that, God would send curses on our people. Right? So now we have to see what these curses are and who they pertain to. Now y'all was talking about slave ships, so we're gonna read 47 and 48 and then we're gonna go to 68.
Can't believe it.
Start with 47.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 47. Because thou servest not the Lord thy God.
Remember, we just read that in 15. Because we didn't serve God.
With joyfulness and with gladness of heart. For the abundance of all things.
Read.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
Now you got to serve your enemies. Because you did not do what was commanded.
Which the Lord shall send against you.
God would send these enemies against us.
In hunger.
In hunger.
And in thirst.
And in thirst. If you want something to eat, you want anything to drink, these things have to be provided by the enemy. Ever since we got off the slave ships. Read.
And in nakedness.
And in nakedness. The textiles, the clothes, everything was provided by our enemies. To this day. Read.
And in want of all things.
No matter what we want. Birth certificate, death certificate, education, driver's license. No matter what you want, you have to get it from your enemy. Read.
And he.
And that enemy shall do what? Look at the front of y'all's flyer. Read.
And he.
The enemy, he.
Shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
He shall put a yoke of iron upon your neck until when?
Until he have destroyed thee.
Until he have destroyed thee. Most of our people do not know that they are Israel. Most of our people do not identify with the scriptures. Why? Because they don't read it. They don't care to read it. It's just not in them to do so. Right? That is a curse. When we got destroyed, they're going to take the yoke of iron off. Now they can go to the zoo in Greenville.
Watch it. Yeah. That's good. That's good.
That's what they can do.
Now we don't have to hit the back of the bus.
Jump to verse 68. Watch this. This is the slave ship y'all was talking about.
Verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
And the Lord shall bring you into Egypt again. What was we in Egypt? Slaves. We were slaves in Egypt. Read.
Again with ships.
You're going to go into slavery again with ships. Because we physically walked out of Egypt the first time.
That's right.
We didn't physically go back.
No.
So Egypt, get Exodus 20 and 2, just so we can get some context.
Exodus chapter 20 and verse 2. I am the Lord thy God.
I am the Lord thy God.
Which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt.
Which have delivered you from Egypt.
Out of the house of bondage.
Also known as the house of bondage. Bondage is captivity, slavery, servitude. That's what we were in Egypt. God delivered us from that. But when we broke his commandments, He said, I'm going to send you back into slavery, proverbial Egypt, again with ships. Read.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee.
The exact way I'm telling you what's going to happen, it's going to happen. It's going to happen to y'all. Read.
Thou shalt see it no more again.
Read on.
And there,
when you get off of those slave ships,
ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
ye shall be sold unto your enemies. That happened to us. That's our history. Y'all walk up and down this strip and y'all see all of this black memorabilia. You see all of these photographs of these black leaders and these revolutionaries who understood the same thing, right? They were filled with the spirit based off of stuff that happened to us, like this. This happened to us. This did not happen to the white man. This did not happen to the Asian man. This did not happen to the East Indian man. This is the black man, the black woman, Hispanic man, Hispanic woman's history. This is our history. The Bible is our history. Read on.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen,
for bondmen, slave man,
and bondwomen,
and slave woman. Read.
And no man shall buy you.
That buy you there means redeem. Nobody would be able to save us out of this condition. The only person that can save us out of this condition is Jesus the Christ. And that's why we out here telling our people who they are. Ezekiel 11. That's why we out here telling our people who they are according to the Bible, because they're not going to get it anywhere else. And then I want Isaiah 30 and 20. Ezekiel 3 and 11. Watch this.
Ezekiel chapter 3 and verse 11.
This is why we out here talking to you, Lacey and Jackie, Denise, Patricia. This is why we out here talking to y'all. Read.
And go. Get thee to them of the captivity.
Get thee to them of the captivity. Go out to the people that went through slavery. Go out to the people who suffered the oppression that's been put on us for hundreds of years. Go out and talk to those people and do what?
Unto the children of thy people.
Unto the children of your people. We out here dealing with y'all because y'all are sisters. Read.
And speak unto them.
And speak unto them.
And tell them, thus saith the Lord.
And tell them, thus saith the Lord. This is what God said.
Whether they will hear.
Whether they will listen.
Or whether they will forbear.
Or whether they will not listen. Listen, what is it? Read that part again.
Whether they will hear.
Whether they will hear.
Or whether they will forbear.
Or whether they will forbear. Whether they listen or not, go out and deal with it. Give me Isaiah 30 and 20. Because you're not going to see this inside of the church.
You know that's right.
You're not going to see this inside the church. They're not going to tell you Jesus Christ is a black man. They're not going to tell you
well, I probably
slavery.
ain't attending like that right now.
They're not. Isaiah 30 and 20.
Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 20. And though the Lord give you the bread of adversity.
Though the Lord give you the bread of adversity. We suffer the pains. Look at this book cover, y'all. Look at this. That's our people that went through that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
For sure. It says, though the Lord gives you the bread of adversity. That's the bread of adversity right there. Read.
And the water of affliction.
That's the water of affliction. Look at that white man's face. He's enjoying that. These were postcards sent to him. Read.
Yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner anymore.
Regardless of what we go through, your teacher's not going to be removed into a corner anymore. They're not going to be hidden from you. Read.
But thine eyes shall see thy teachers.
You're going to see us. Y'all going to be walking down. I don't know where y'all coming from. Y'all might have been looking at the lions.
No.
We just parked. Nah, we just parked.
Came here.
I mean, I like lions, tigers, and bears when I look at YouTube and watch African movies, you know. But I don't know really like that.
We knew about it.
So y'all would be out here and y'all would see your teachers telling you, thus saith the Lord.
Yeah.
Read.
But thine eyes shall see thy teachers.
Your eyes shall see your teachers.
And thine ears shall hear a word behind thee.
You're going to hear a word behind you. A young brother might come up to you and say, hey, y'all know about slave ships? Right? And y'all might say, yeah, we were just talking about slave ships. That's what's going to happen. Read.
Saying, this is the way.
We're going to be saying, this is the way. We might stop a sister with a dog.
Not you. Not you.
We might stop a sister with a dog who paints and is a homebody and tell her that she is Israelite according to the Bible. Right? Your eyes you're gonna hear a word behind you saying, this is the way.
Walk ye in it.
Walk ye in it. Do God's commandments. Remember, God put us in this condition because we broke his commandments. So we out here telling y'all, keep the commandments.
Right.
Read.
When ye turn to the right hand,
When you turn to the right,
and when ye turn to the left.
and when you turn to the left. That's it. That's what's going to happen. So we come out here to give y'all, thus saith the Lord, because y'all are in need of it. Right? Our people are in need of it. All of these people here, we knew this was going to be the blackest event in Greenville. So guess what? We're going to go to them of the captivity. We're going to go to them of our people. And we're going to give them, thus saith the Lord.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yes, sir.
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role